Hey everyone, D-WIZZLE here. I hope everyone's doing well. So I'm making this video because a new trailer came out. I'm sure you knew. The Spider-Man No Way Home teaser came out yesterday as of this recording, and a lot of people are talking about it already. People are buzzing about it. People are really, really excited for it. And I wanted to give my thoughts on it. And judging by the title of this video, I'm sure a lot of you are surprised and shocked. But yeah, I'm going to explain myself in a minute. I normally don't talk about trailers that much on my channel, and I don't do reactions because, copyright, stuff like that. But, this is a special case because, there's a lot of thoughts that I had going into this movie way before this trailer came out, and it's just been a lot of frustration and confusion and stuff like that. So yeah, I just wanted to give my opinion on it. I know a lot of people won't agree with what I have to say, and that's fine. I know a lot of people are excited for this film, and I don't want to take that away from them, but I just want to give like a more realistic perspective when it comes to this movie, because I feel like there's certain things with the fandom regarding this movie that's been taken a bit out of proportion, just in my opinion. But yes, so before I get into my actual thoughts on the teaser, when it comes to Spider-Man No Way Home, this is probably the most anticipated Spider-Man film ever. It's probably the most anticipated comic book movie ever. Yeah, just been a lot of excitement and anticipation for this film. And with this movie, there's been a lot of theories and speculation going on. Since Doctor Strange is going to be in the movie, there's a lot of people speculating that there's going to be a lot of stuff with the multiverse, since Doctor Strange 2 is going to dive into that a lot more. So this is going to pave the way for some of those concepts with the multiverse. And then what a lot of people are talking about is seeing characters from the older Spider-Man movies make an appearance in this one, like some of the older villains, and mainly Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire possibly coming back as Spider-Man alongside Tom Holland. For me, it's like, yeah, I'm kind of intrigued about it, but it's not really something that I need for a Spider-Man movie right now. I mean, yeah, it'd be cool to see Andrew and Tom and Toby, all together in one movie, but like I was concerned with how they're going to utilize them in the film without it just feeling like a nostalgia act, And it's like I've said before on the channel that I feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man has not been completely defined yet. Like I don't feel like he's been able to create his own identity when it comes to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I feel like there's still a lot that they could do with this character. So for them to just drop multiverse stuff in here, like I don't know, it feels really soon for me. But anyway, as I said, they waited so long to do marketing for this film. I started to get a bit worried because the movie's supposed to come out in December, and we're just getting a trailer, and it's almost September. And that left a lot of time for people to theorize and speculate what's going to happen in the movie, with not just older Spider-Man villains coming back, but like how's this going to impact the ramifications of Doctor Strange and the multiverse and all this stuff, and other Marvel characters appearing in here that doesn't really feel natural to the story that they're establishing. Like I keep hearing Mephisto over and over again. It's like, guys, need to stop with it. But like, there's just so many theories and people speculating, and it's just gotten too much for me. It's gotten overwhelming to the point where it's like, if the movie does come out and none of these theories happen, are people going to enjoy the movie for what it is? So it's just like, I don't know, man. I thought people would learn, because people kept theorizing since Infinity War, and stuff didn't happen for them. And then recently with the Marvel shows, we had WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, and it's like with them, like there may be some theories that came true, but they didn't meet all of them, you know. So it's just like I thought, you know, fans would learn from over theorizing stuff, but it's like it's gotten overblown with Spider-Man No Way Home, in my opinion. And it's like I said, it's okay if you want to theorize stuff and you want to build up hype and anticipation for things, but it's like, you know, don't assume. You know, it'll make an ass out of you and me. I think that's what the term is. So for me, I'm like, okay, it'll be cool if some of this stuff does happen, but like, I'm just gonna judge it as you know, as a movie by itself. If it works as a movie on its own, and like none of the theories happen, I just want a good movie. That's all I want. You know, as long as they do that, I don't care what happens or what doesn't happen. You know, and it's like I said, I don't need all that for Tom Holland's movie because I just want to focus on him as a character because I don't feel like we got enough of that. So anyway, regarding this teaser, I watched it like 15, 20 times. So I gave it a good chance. And I didn't love it. I didn't. I mean, it's not a bad trailer. It's fine, but like it didn't really raise my excitement that much. It didn't add anything. It didn't lose anything either, but just like, you know, it just didn't do much for me. And I'm sure this is raising a lot of questions for people. Like, what about the Alfred Molina as Doc Ock? What about William Dafoe's Green Goblin? Like, they confirmed they're going to be in the movie. Is Jamie Foxx's Electro, Sandman? Doesn't that get you really excited? I mean, kinda, but like, I don't know. It's just, I wasn't feeling like, oh yes, I gotta see this. I mean, of course I'm gonna see it, but it's like, you know, it just didn't make me that excited. And like judging it as a trailer, you know, if we take out the reveals with, you know, Doc Ock and Green Goblin and stuff like that, as a trailer, it's average, you know. I felt like the trailers for Homecoming and Far From Home did more to establish, you know, what it's about and like why you should be excited, you know, as a story on its own. With this, like, I mean, there's somewhat of a story, but I feel like it's gotten lost halfway through. I mean, yeah, we're dealing with Tom Holland, you know, dealing with the ramifications of his identity being revealed to the world, and he goes to Doctor Strange to see if they can reverse that and wipe everyone's memory of him being Spider-Man. But then, like, you know, in order for the spell to work, everyone has to forget, even MJ and, you know, Aunt May and stuff like that, and he doesn't want that to happen. And then he messes with the spell, and then it causes a whole bunch of multiversal stuff to happen, which I found that a bit contrived. Now, keep in mind, this is a trailer, so it's probably just a misdirect, and they're cutting things together, and that's not exactly what causes the multiverse stuff to happen. But like, you know, judging it from that standpoint, I just feel like it's kind of a stretch that that's the cause of why the older Spider-Man villains make an appearance in this movie. So I'm already like kind of lost with it. And it's like, you know, if we cut out the Doc Ock stuff and the Green Goblin stuff, you know, there isn't really that much for me to say like, oh, this is gonna be great, you know. I mean, yeah, it's cool to see Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, you know, in the same movie, and I feel like they'll have a more natural interaction than Tony Stark did with Spider-Man. But it's just like, I don't know, I just feel like this movie is just, you know, a Multiverse of Madness prequel more than a Spider-Man movie. And this goes into my overall issues with Tom Holland's Spider-Man movies, even though, you know, I really enjoy Spider-Man Homecoming, and I like Far From Home fine. But like I said, the main problem with his movies is that this Spider-Man is defined by what happens with the Avengers and the MCU. I don't feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is able to define himself as a character. And it feels like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is being stepped all over from the other MCU characters like Iron Man and stuff like that. He feels like a non-factor when it comes to the overall MCU, and it's just really strange that they want to push the Avengers stuff and the multiverse stuff, and Spider-Man is not even out of high school yet, and it just feels backwards, because at least when I read the comics and watch some of the animated shows, like we actually spend some time with Spider-Man before he gets into the Avengers stuff, before he gets into the multiverse stuff. We actually get to know him as a teenager, and we see him growing up, going to college, and learning to be an adult, and trying to balance his life. And then we get to the Avengers stuff that's bigger stakes and stuff like that, and the multiverse and whatnot. But they're doing it backwards, being like, we're gonna throw in the Avengers stuff first and the multiverse stuff first before we actually get to see the full spectrum of Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So it just feels really strange, and I've been hearing rumblings that they're going to do more Spider-Man movies after this. Whether Sony and Marvel, keep their deal or not, that's up in the air. But it's like, if they're going to try and do more Spider-Man movies after this, where they actually are going to give more time with him as being in college or whatever and turning into an adult, it just feels I don't know, it just feels kind of backwards to me. Like, the development the college stuff and the adult stuff should have happened before this, multiverse and Avengers stuff. Because it just feels weird. It just feels weird to me. I know a lot of people won't agree with that, but that's just how I feel. Like, let's go back to the Doc Ock and Green Goblin stuff in this movie. So it's pretty much a no-brainer. They're gonna set up Sinister Six in this movie, and I'm sure, and that's something that Sony's been trying to do for years, and I'm sure Marvel Studios wants to do that as well. But the way they're going about doing a Sinister Six stuff, it feels forced. It's not really like an authentic Sinister Six. It's a multiverse Sinister Six. Like, Alfred Molina is not Tom Holland's Doc Ock. It's Tom Maguire's. Same thing with Green Goblin. It's not Tom Holland's. It's Tom Maguire's. And then Jamie Foxx's Electro. Once again, it's not Tom's. It's Andrew Garfield's. And the Sandman or whatnot. Like, these aren't Tom Holland's, villains. And so when they're trying to build the Sinister Six up, like, there's not any emotional connection or weight with Tom Holland, because that's not his villains. He hasn't encountered these characters before. What made Sinister Six so great in the comics and in the animated shows is that Tom Holland actually had encounters with them before. He actually has, personal attachments to some of the villains. So by the time all of them, team up against Spider-Man, you feel that emotional weight. There's not really much emotional weight when I'm seeing Tom Holland interacting with Alfred Molina, like, unless Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are going to be there, okay, that's where the emotional connection will be. But that goes back to my other issue, where it doesn't feel like a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. It feels like a multiverse continuation of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's, and me personally, I don't want that. I never wanted that. Like, and this is coming from someone who grew up with the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies. Like Lily, I have them on Blu-ray. Like, see this? Like, I'm a fan. Especially the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie is one of my favorite films. And I even have the ones that people don't like, the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I have the original one on Blu-ray 3D, and even the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the movie that people hate, I have it on Blu-ray in 3D. So I grew up with these movies, and I enjoy I enjoy Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like, none of them, even Tom's, encapsulate everything that I want from Spider-Man, but each of the actors, inherits a really good aspect of Spider-Man. If they were all meshed together in one, I think they would be the perfect live-action Spider-Man. But I think all the actors bring something great to the movies. But their stories are over. Their stories are done. Now, you could argue that there could be more they could have done with Andrew Garfield's movies, which, Even though I didn't like Amazing Spider-Man 2 that much, I was still open to seeing where that would go from there. But their stuff is done. Spider-Man 4, I don't want that. Tobey Maguire stuff, I never wanted that. I wanted us to move on because I feel like Marvel Studios and Sony could actually tell a better, authentic story with Spider-Man, that we haven't got from the older films. Like, this should have been Tom Holland's moment to shine. And while Tom Holland is a really good Spider-Man, I feel like the movies that he's given isn't letting him, branch out as much as he could have. There's a lot of things that I feel are missing that's the essence of what Spider-Man is when it comes to Tom Holland's movies. Like, we still have no mention of Uncle Ben in any of the Tom Holland movies. Now, I don't want to see him get killed again. That's not what I'm saying. It's the fact that Uncle Ben is a very important person in Peter Parker's life. And for there to be no mention of him whatsoever, like zero, like even when he's dealing with hardships and stuff like that, like Aunt May and Peter never have a conversation regarding anything Uncle Ben. It's like he never existed. Like I said, I don't want to see Uncle Ben die. That gets played out along with, Bruce Wayne's parents dying. I don't want to see that again. But I just want to feel like his presence is there, like he actually means something to him. And that's just one of the many things that I feel like is missing from the Tom Holland movies. And now that they're just forcing this multiverse stuff with Tom Holland, like, I don't know, it's like when they do have him interact with the older villains, like, what are they gonna do when they actually introduce the authentic villains for Tom Holland? Because you already did Doc Ock. Like, what are you gonna do are they gonna introduce a new Doc Ock for Tom Holland's future movies? Same thing with Green Goblin. Are they just gonna do that again? And then Electro and Sandman? It'll feel disingenuous at that point when if they decide to reintroduce these villains for Tom Holland's universe, because we've already gotten a Sinister Six type of setup. It feels disingenuous, man. And that's what it boils down to. And personally, I didn't like how much Tom Holland was, so eager to interact with the Avengers, because like in the comics and in the shows, he's more like a lone wolf. Like, yes, he would team with the Avengers if he absolutely needs to, but that's one of the things that I love about Spider-Man's character, is that while he wants to interact with the Avengers, while he wants to team up with them, he doesn't need to, because being a part of the Avengers is a full-time commitment. And he's still trying to balance having a normal life and, making sure the people that he cares about is good, try to have a normal job, have a love life, be there for his aunt and stuff like that, being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, being there for the city, New York, before committing to worldwide threats. That's what made him really relatable. And I just don't like how he's just so eager to do whatever the Avengers want. And even when he tries to help with the Avengers, he gets stepped all over. He gets taken advantage of. He gets ignored. Like, he's not being taken seriously. And that's what really frustrates me about this version of Spider-Man. And it's like, I just don't like how much of a pushover they made him. And it's like, it's not Tom Holland's fault at all. I just feel like the writing for him could have been better. But yeah, just overall, this teaser, it didn't make me any more excited. It didn't. I'm going to go see it. And I'm sure when there's going to be more marketing and trailers and stuff like that, it'll probably give me some more to work off of. But the fact that people going off of this teaser are saying that this is going to be one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time, I don't see that. I really don't. This will probably be a fun time if I turn my brain off and just enjoy the Alfred Molina, William Dafoe, Jamie Foxx coming back and fighting possibly the three Spider-Men. If I join on that point, okay, I'll probably have a good time with it. But as far as substance, as far as character, I don't know if it's going to give me the same substance that I got from even the older movies and the TV shows and the comics. I don't know. That's going to be a wait and see type thing. But I don't know. I want to be excited for this film, but it's just, I don't know. It's just I'm just having a hard time with it. That's pretty much how I'm feeling about this teaser. I talked more about the overall fandom and expectations of this movie more than the teaser, which it tells you a few things. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this overall teaser and my overall expectations for Spider-Man No Way Home. I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys excited? Did this teaser make you more excited? Do you guys have any theories that you think are going to happen in this movie that the teaser confirmed for you? Like, or are you guys on the same level as me? Is that you're getting tired of the theories? Like, the stuff that they are showing for this movie is like, you feel like you need more. Which Spider-Man, which live action Spider-Man is your favorite? I want to know. Just let's talk Spider-Man in the comments. But anyway, that's my rant on the teaser. Hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell if you want to be notified on future videos I'll be doing. But that's all I have for you Spidey fans, and I'll see you next time. Talk to you guys later.